All right. um, Welcome to this live session. Let's wait a few seconds. All right. So thank you for joining live. This session is to quickly discuss about how those with spouses, children, whatever, can bring their family with them to study while they study in the United States. I've been asked a lot of questions, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, Facebook. And the basic question is, can my family join me? Can I bring my family to study in the US? And the basic truth is yes, you can bring your family to join you in the US. In fact, let me start by encouraging you that you are married, that you have a child, that you have children, does not mean that your study should end. If you really still desire graduate study, you want to do your master's, you want to do your PhD, it is very, very possible. So, those who are married, those who have their children, are doing graduate studies in the United States, and it's happening everywhere. So it's not a new thing, it's something very common. Another question I get asked is this: I'm 35 plus years old. Can I still do a graduate study? Can I still get assistant? Can I still get PhD? The basic answer is yes, you can still get it. Okay, that you are 30 years, 35, 40 does not mean you cannot get assistantship. It does not mean you cannot get funded in the US. Okay, you can still get it. I've seen people who are over 40 years doing graduate studies. Okay, you can hear background noise. That's the beauty of having a family. Okay, so if you are hearing the background noise, that's what it means to be a family man doing PhD. All right, so it is very possible people 40 years old, more than 40 years old, are getting it. So you can also get it. So don't be discouraged. So, number one, don't let your marital status discourage you. Don't let your age discourage you. Those are 2 points I want you to hold dear. Very important. I've seen many that just said, okay, I won't just do that. I can't do it again. I'm already married. I already have 2 kids, 3 kids. I can't do it again. Or I'm already 40 years old. I'm already 45 years old. I've seen people who are 40 plus get admission. I've seen people, I know someone who is 40 plus, she's a student. Okay. So don't let that discourage you. All right. So as we move along in this session, if you have any question, you can ask in the chat box. I can always respond to you in the chat box. Okay. So if you have any question, put it there. Now let's start this way. What should you do as a married man or married woman, and you want to do your PhD, your master's, whatever in the United States? Of course, you apply like every other person. Okay, apply like every other person. Write your SOP, write, do everything every other person are doing. Okay, and then you see there is no discrimination based on marital status. Even though you don't have to write it in your SOP that you are married or whatever. I mean, it's not related to what you are doing, so you don't need to write it down, except it's directly related to what you want to study. But even aside that, there's no discrimination when it comes to marital status, and they say, oh, we only choose married people. I mean, or married folks. In my department, I know a lot of guys who are married. Okay, in my lab alone, at least those who are students, I know maybe two or three other person aside me who are married. Okay, so it's not new, and people come from different countries who are married. I know people from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from India, people from South America who are married. They came with their husband, they came with their wives. Okay, so it's nothing new in the United States. So don't let anything discourage you and you say, I'm married, maybe that will count against me, that will stand against me. No. And that you also have children will not stand against you. Okay. In fact, there is really no place where they will be asking those questions, married or unmarried, number of kids or whatever. No. Okay. Except you write in your SOP, of which you will not even write. Even if you write it, it does not stand against you. It does not stand against you. Okay. So having cleared that, what should you do when you are married? When you are filling your form, when you are submitting, when you are doing all those stuff, um, there are different I-20s. One document, let me start there. One document you can receive, that you receive after your admission, after you've been granted admission, assistantship, or whatever, is what we call I-20. The I-20 is like a travel document which you will use to apply for your visa, for your student visa, your F1 visa, or F2 visa, as the case may be. So when you have this I-20, many times they ask you if there are dependents, if you will have dependents. Dependents means your wife, your husband, or your children. Okay. Your parents are not dependents. They are not dependents refers to immediate family members. Okay. Your wife, your children, your husband, or as the case may be. So when you choose that, they can give you I-20s that relate to dependents, where you will have to put your wife's name, your children's name, and all those stuff. And they will specifically list the amount that you should have. Now, don't be afraid yet. They'll specifically list the amount you should have for each of your dependents. They'll say, okay, for your wife, for example, maybe you have an extra $4,000. For your children, each of them, you have extra $2,000, depending on where you're applying to. Now, don't be afraid. If you receive an assistantship, let's picture it this way, that you receive an assistantship, you are the only one who is applying. Your I-20 will carry the amount that it should be paid. Okay. But because you have an assistantship, the funding, there is a part that has to do with is it costs now? How do they put it? A part that has to do with what you need, and a part that has to do with what you have. Okay. So for example, let's say the school fee is $10,000. So that expenses part will read $10,000. Let's say the department is giving you $12,000 as an assistantship, including your stipends, everything, or let's say $15,000. So on that part of what you have, they put $15,000, and they subtract, of course, net. What's the net gain or net whatever is left will be $5,000, which is what is left for you. So when you add your dependents, the the amount that you should have for them goes into that part where it's more like a cost. Okay, so instead of, for you they may list 10,000, for wife they may list 4,000, for one son or one child they may list 3,000, and then what the department gives you, let's say 15,000, and they do the subtraction, and they say that probably you need more money to fill that in. And then, so what you have to do is to provide a statement and say, okay, I'm able to cater for the deficit. Now, there are two ways to these things. I know of someone who got an assistantship, and the school also gave funding for the wife and child. Okay, because he was able to talk to the school that, see, I have a family. He was able to talk to the advisor that, see, I have a family. Okay, and I'll need funding for them, and the school gave him funding for the family. So in his I-20, there was a cost for himself, for his wife, and for the child. And under the amount funding released, there's also funding released by the department that covers himself, the wife, and the child. And of course, they applied for visa, and then they all got their visa straight away on the first attempt. So that is very possible. But again, there is a situation where the school does not give funding for your dependents. Now, this is what I always advise people. You, as the F1 holder, go for your F1 interview first. If you don't have funding straight away that way, collect your own I-20, just do for you. Then go for your own visa interview, get your F1 visa. If you may travel, you may get to the US and start processing the I-20 for your dependents, or you may start processing it from wherever you are, Nigeria, India, UK, wherever you are, you may start processing the I-20 for your dependents. But while processing that, you will need an account statement to be able to say that I have this amount of funding to be able to cater for my family. Okay, so they want to see the proof that you will be able to cater for your family. Now, take note, in the US, those on dependent visa, F2 visas, are not permitted to work by the law. Okay, so that is one reason, one major reason why they want a statement that shows that you'll be able to take care of your dependent. For example, the friend I told you who had his family place of on funding from the school, that's a good plus for him. They're able to say they know that this guy, that the school is taking care of the family, the school is paying for the family. That's possible. Now, in a case where the school is not taking care of that, which is very common, I mean, which is very common. It's most that's what you see in most cases. Okay, you will need a proof of funding. Okay, to be able to collect their own I-20, your dependent's I-20. Your dependent, if you have a wife, and if you have husband, they'll be able to submit that statement of account that shows that you can take care of them. Now, this is it. It's there's a way people go about this thing. Okay, some may get to the US on their F1, the main applicant, and start saving up money. That's what some people do, and they start saving up money, and they use that money, their own account, as a proof of funding to be able to get the I-20 for their dependents. That is very possible. Some do that. It's also possible to use, if you have a family member who is willing to help, you can use their statement of account. Okay, and then you're able to get that funding. Family, friends, and all those stuff, you can use their statement of account to prove that yes, you can actually take care of your dependents, to prove that your dependents will not come to the US and suffer, that it will be all good for them. So you can actually do that too. Okay, and once they're able to get the I-20, the next thing is to apply for the visa, okay, for the F2 visas. Now, I will share some experiences when it comes to F2 visa, and I will share what I think too has been working well for some people, what hasn't been working well for people. Over time, I've discovered that it seems those who are men, I mean, females, women, wives, when they go for F2 visa, it seems to be easier for them than for husbands who are going for dependent visa. Okay, it seems to be easier. I'm not saying that's the norm. I'm not saying they give preference to women, but I'm just saying it seems to be easier for them. Or let me say the number that I've seen get approved for F2 visa, which is a dependent visa, is more for women than for men. Okay, I don't know what the reason for that, but more women, from my experience, get the dependent visa than the men. For example, this is what I mean. The husband is here in the United States on F1 visa and wants the wife and son or child to join. Many times it's easier for that wife to join straight away than when the wife is here studying and the husband has to join on a dependent visa. I've seen more women get the dependent visa than more men. Okay, the reason for that I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure. Sir Sunday, I can see you. You are very much welcome. So I'm not exactly sure for that the reason for that. Okay, I will come to the questions later. I will come to the question. Let me just run this down, then we'll start picking up the questions. Okay. So I've seen that it's easier for women to get it, for wives to get it. But I cannot say exactly why. One reason I might be thinking is because in the those who are on dependent visas, they are not permitted to work. Okay, they are supporting. You are there to support your husband. You are there to support your wife in whatever he or she is doing, in whatever PhD or whatever he or she is doing. You are there to support. So now, how do you go about the visa itself? How do you go? What should you say? For example, if you are the dependent, let's say in fact, let me start from the main holder, the holder of the visa. If you know you want your family to join you, when you are doing your own interview, don't ruin their chances. For example, sorry, that sound is my boy, okay? Is my boy is playing, showing and building blocks. All right, don't ruin their chances. For example, someone went to do his F1 visa and they were asking, will your family come to join you? And this guy said no, because he was trying to build what do we call this thing? Home ties. He was trying to prove to the to the VO that he has home ties, that he's not staying in the US, he's coming back to Nigeria. So he now used his family as the sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb. So the guy said his family is not coming to join, that he's coming back to meet his family. And the VO said, I will be noting this down, so that when your family come, I will remind them that your husband said you guys are not coming. So please, if you are the main holder, don't ruin the chances for your family. It's very, very important. Don't ruin the chances. So very many people, their family are not able to get dependent visa because they messed up in that regard during their own interview. So please don't ruin the chances for your family. Don't say they won't join you. Be confident. Say the reason why there is a dependent visa is for your family to be able to join you and support you during your studies. Okay, so that's the main reason. So when you are saying it, say it confidently. For example, when I went for my interview and we discussed to that level, and the viewer was asking about my family, my wife, my son, I mentioned the fact that my son is still very young. We don't want him to travel now, but they will still come to join me later at the right time. They don't have problem with that. They have family. That's why there is an F2 visa. Okay, so that's why there's an F2 visa. You don't have to be afraid of saying it. Nathaniel, that is busy. That is busy. Okay. Can we go? Okay. So, oh my goodness. All right, that's the beauty of having your family sit there. All right, let me carry you up. You want to see what's going on? Okay, so that's the beauty of that. There is the F2 visas are there because they want your family to come and join you and be able to support you. Sit on the laps. Nat, you can't sit on daddy's laps now. That is busy, okay? All right. It's been a long time I did a video from home. I'm not sure I've even done a live video from home. It's always been from office. All right. So don't be afraid of saying it, that they are coming to join you. Don't be afraid. Say it boldly, say it confidently, that your family, they're coming to join you at the right time, at the appropriate time. And if you are going together, good. Now, but the reason why I don't really recommend people going together for the interview is because of funding. If you have the funding, you can go together. Many I know who actually went together, who didn't really have funding from the school or have their own money, okay, didn't get approved. Some, the older just get approved, some they deny both of them, and then the older applies back and the older gets it back. Okay, the main admission holder. Oh, my boy looks cool, thank you. So be confident, say it. Now, when you are there, you are making ground, you are preparing the ground for your dependent to join you. In fact, that's one other reason I love people going separately, because you want to create a ground for your other half to join you. You want to create, because it's a strange land. You just come in, you don't have anything, you don't even really have the money. It will be stressful. But when the first person goes, you are able to prepare the ground for the other person who is coming to join. Okay, so that is really, really, really possible. Now, when you are here, let's assume the husband is here already. You start processing immediately. You get here, start processing the don't worry, I will still do a recap, a general recap, the entire. Don't worry. So don't worry. Once you get here, once you land here, start making processes for your spouse's F2, what do you call it? I-20. Start making preparation. Okay, it's not hard. In fact, your school will get it processed within a week, and you can send it to Nigeria or India or whichever country or Bangladesh. Oh, sorry. All right, and you can send it to anywhere you want it to get to, and your spouse can start processing his or her own visa. Now, as for the interview, I have videos on F1, F2 interviews, which you can check, but I'll just mention some things here, some basic things here. For the interview, don't be afraid if you are the spouse and you are going. You have all the legitimate rights to be with your spouse there. Your son, your child, your daughter has all the legitimate rights to be with with his father, with her father. Okay. So when you are going for the interview, be confident. Okay. Now, one thing they want to see is these basic things they want to see that is your husband or wife, sorry, is your husband or wife who he or she say she is. Are you guys really married? They want to confirm that are you guys really married? They want to confirm that. Aside that, they want to see is does your husband has enough to be able to take care of you? Okay, because they know that you are not allowed to work, and they want you to know and have that consciousness in your mind that see you are not permitted to work. Okay, they want you to have that consciousness at the back of your mind that you're not permitted to work. So those are the main things they just want to confirm. And when you are doing your interview, don't tell them. No, they'll be asking, "Oh, let's call mommy. Mommy, please come for this young man." All right. So they want to confirm: will you guys be okay? Will you guys not struggle? Will you guys not become a liability in court? They want to confirm that. So during the interview, things you want to make sure you have are your financial documents that says that your husband, your wife has funding, or whoever is taking care, if it's self-funded. They want to be able to confirm that you know what you are doing, because somebody was asked a question that, okay, what will you be doing after your during when you get to the United States? And the person was like, I'll do sightseeing, I'll go to parks, I'll go to this and that. You spend money for all those things. You are not working. You understand? So they want to be able to. What they want to hear is that you are basically going to support the other person. That's basically what I want to hear. That you're going to support the other person. You I want to say what the applicant should not tell them. Okay, I'll come to that. They want to be able to tell them that you are going to support the other person. Now, I want to say what the applicant should not tell them. So don't tell them that you want to go sightseeing, or when they say what will be doing, and then you start saying I'll be working there as a clinic to support my. You are not working. Okay, some may say I'll be studying. So you are not studying. You are interviewing for F2. Okay. Even if eventually you want to convert to F1 to be a student, that's fine. You can have that at the back of your mind. But the interview you are presently going for, you speak according to the to the category of the, what do you call it? Of the visa category. You speak according to the visa category. Okay. So don't start telling them that I will also start school, this and that. No, you are there basically to support your husband physically, emotionally. You are there to support your wife physically, emotionally. PhD, MSc in the US is hard, it's difficult. Also, one big reason you want to be there is you guys are married. You don't want this distance to affect your family. You guys don't want to be apart for too long, because it will have a negative effect on your family. And if you have your child already, it will have a negative effect on your child or your children. Okay, so don't have the mindset that they will be thinking, who asked you to do it in the first place? Who asked you guys to separate in the first place? No, they don't have that mindset. Family is cherished. Okay, family is cherished. Family is cherished. Yeah, and then you can actually uh, go and join your spouse. Okay, so let me answer some questions and then wrap it up. So if you have your question, just drop it here. I can see some questions here already, so I'm going to quickly try to answer the questions here. And then if you have other questions, ask it. Then I'll try and summarize everything I've said for those who actually came very late. All right. So someone saying on the issue of family member who can help with their statement of account. I have a cousin in the US, do but we do not. I believe you wrote we do not have the same surname. As a matter of fact, is the one who wants to pay for it. Yes, I've seen people who use cousins in the US, yeah, who use cousins and even in different places, even in Nigeria, who use their statement of account to do it. So far, the person is willing to help out. Yeah, it's not a crime to have them do it for you to be able to prove that you have funding to take care of yourself. And of course, let me say this: the stipend, if the main visa holder is on a stipend for on assistantship, I believe that whatsoever stipend the person is collecting, even as a medium class family, as a normal family, it will be enough to take care of the family as a whole too, even when there is no extra work. Okay, and even when there, but if you have that extra support, it's really, really very good. So it will be accepted. So someone is asking, what is my take on taking a loan for master's program? Yeah, people take loan for masters for their program. But if you are talking about loan, what type of loan in that sense? Is it a loan from your home country? Now, you are Nigerian, Sunday accumulated. Is it a loan from your home country, or you are banking on, or you are, this is my elder boy, okay? Natek, you want with water? Now, is it a loan from your home country, or you are banking on international student loan, something like that, like student loan that US students access? Okay, so if you are banking on those loans that US students access, that may be more than the process may be more than what you actually think, because it's for US students. Some international guys can access it when they meet some requirements, but it takes a whole lot. But if you can take a loan for your master's program, probably from a friend or from a company in Nigeria, from a financial institution, and they're able to grant you, that's okay. But for me, I would say, why not struggle for an assistantship instead of taking a loan or paying so much for the studies? Why? Because assistantships are available. Okay, Esther, you're saying, please, sir, I need a guideline for F2 interview. I have 2 kids and my interview is coming up soon. Okay, so Esther, I want to believe you add some of the things I said. I have a video that I've made for F2 interviews. You can actually check it on this channel, search for it, you will find it. But basically, I'll just say be confident, fill your DS 160 very well, don't put the wrong information. Don't write that you're a member of a guerrilla group or terrorist organization or whatever. I've seen someone made such a mistake before because the person thought because she did NYC, she's a member of the paramilitary and all those stuff. So you don't need, just fill it well. Go there, go with the required statements, go with your husband document, know things about your husband, know the PhD the program is doing, know the duration. And when they ask you how long are you going to stay, tell them it's for the duration of your husband's program. Okay, don't be afraid and say you just stay for 3 months and come back, or you just stay for 1 month or whatever. Don't be afraid, be confident. Tell them you want to stay with your husband till your husband finishes his or her program, his program rather. Okay, tell them that, because someone says I want to stay for 2 months or 1 month, I'll just say, why not go and get a B visa, a B1 visa or whatever, B2 visa, because you want to visit, but you really want to stay with your husband. That's the purpose of the F2 visa, is for you to be able to stay with your husband for the duration of the program. So if your husband is finishing in 2025, tell them, yes, you are staying with your husband till 2025. Okay. So that's what my wife told them when she went. She told them, they said, how long are you staying? She said, I'm staying with my husband till the end of his program in 2020. So. He mentioned the end of the program. She mentioned the end of the program. So be confident. Don't be afraid. It's your right to be with your husband. Um, Fail your DS1 still well, and then you will I believe it will be a success. So you can still find that video I made for F2 interviews. You can find it on this channel. Please search for it. You will see it. All right, Sunday is saying my boy looks cute. Thank you so much. Uh, Temitayo, you came in late talking about visa. I will still make a summary so Temitayo, you can listen to some of the things I've mentioned. Okay, so someone is saying, is it possible to get fully funded program with tutu? Yes, it's possible. I have people with tutu who got fully funded programs, fully funded scholarships. Okay, it's very very possible. It depends on your other application documents. Remember, the GP is not the only thing that they look at. They want to look at your research trends. They want to look at your statement of purpose. They want to look at your CV. What have you done before? What are the skills you have? Do you have relevant programming skills? Do you have relevant research skills? Do you have publications? Did you write GRE? What's your GRE score? Was it spectacular? They want to look at all those things, not just your grade. So it's possible to get fully funded scholarship. I've seen people get that. All right. Okay. Olakunle, yeah, I've mentioned that. Sam Ajay, my namesake. Thank you so much. So, Anike, that's my boy. Okay, that's the beauty of having a family. Anike, you're asking, do I have an idea about the approval rate for F2 while spouse is on OPT? I don't have an idea about the approval rate, but I know people get approved. Okay, I know someone who got approved recently from Nigeria. She's in the United States now. We met, I think, through YouTube like this. She watched one of the F2 videos I made on YouTube on this channel, and then she contacted me and we started talking. The husband was already on OPT, and then the husband was already working, earning good money, and then she went and she got approved. Okay, so your husband or your spouse working, doing the OTP is already OPT, is already adding his own contribution to the country, is already doing something for the country. So you deserve the right to be with your husband. Yeah, I know people get it, but I don't have an idea of what their approval rating is. Okay, can you give an idea of how much I need to show if I want to bring my wife after I go to the US? Good question. So basically for that, what you need will be speculated, will be specified by the school. The school will tell you this is the amount you need for your dependents. Okay, and I know it's different from school to school. For my school, I know it's different. When I compared it to another school, it's totally different. My school, the amount required by my school is much higher than those schools I compared it with. So, but usually I know for spouse, I think mine was it $6,000 or something, and then for each dependent, they said $4,000. Okay, of course I had one for child, they said $4,000. Of course, that was making $10,000. So we needed to show that we can cater for that, and then all we need to do is get someone who has an account. Nat, don't fall down there. You fall down there. I want a pen. So all we had to do was get someone. That's not a pen. That's a pen, Nathaniel. I want a wet pen. Sorry, guys. I just need to take care of this guy. If I don't, he will continue to disturb me. Thank you. The pen fell down. All right. So you need to be able to show that whatever your school says the amount is, that's what you need to show. It varies from school to school. Okay, Anuluapo, can a spouse on F2 study part-time? Okay, this question again. So number one, don't say during your interview, don't even mention anything about study. Okay? Even don't mention anything about study. Now we'll come to that, what can be done. But don't mention anything about study. It's a red flag. Not stop that. That's not right. It's a red flag, okay? Because anything that has to do with study is linked usually with F1 visa, and the dependent is going for F2 visa. So don't say anything about study. Now, when you get here, what are the things that can be done? There are vocational trainings that someone on F2 can do. Vocational trainings. You want to do some vocational training. I know some schools now started introducing um, part-time study for those on F2 visa in terms of credit units. It will not be the same number of credit units as someone who is a full F1 visa holder. I know some schools introduce that. Okay, that's possible if you are in such a school, but not. I think it's just one or two schools that have had doing such a thing. Maybe Ohio or something. I can't remember. But please and please, for the interview, don't mention anything that has to do with study part time. They ask you what we doing, you say, "Oh, wow," and you are saying, "I want to study on part time." That's a red flag. That's already a no, 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 no. Okay, that's already a no, 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 no. Don't say that. But vocational trainings are possible. Okay, you can do vocational trainings here if you have centers around you that do that. Uh, some I don't know, maybe some you have to pay, some they are free stuff. Vocational trainings are like catering, they're like some technical stuffs. I know it's not exactly what we term as real schooling. You understand? Okay, but don't mention anything part-time study, please. Don't mention. I must say that it's possible to convert from F2 to F1. The person on F2 visa can also apply to school and then get approved and then convert to F1. The person may either travel back home to do an interview for F1 visa, or the person may apply here in the US and convert to F2 visa. I know someone. You are doing great. You are doing great. Go and write it. You can write it, okay? Can I write it on the table? So you can. I know someone who came with the husband from, is it Bangladesh or yeah, Bangladesh. Came with the husband and joined the husband there rather, and then she did everything, made her own applications too, and then she got full funding too. So she went back to her country, did another interview for F1, and came back on an F1 visa. I know another person too who is Nigerian, came in on F2 visa, applied to the school, got funding, and remained here, changed the F2 status to F1. Of course, the stress of traveling back to Nigeria and for and all this stuff, change it back to F1. Some do it, travel to another country like Mexico or Canada to go and do an interview and then come back to the US with their F1 visa. So it's very possible to change it. But please, if you are going for your interview as an for F2, stick to that category. Don't talk anything, don't say anything about study. Even if you still have it long term, because you don't know who you'll be speaking with as a VO. Many just see anyone talking about study as, oh, you need to apply for F1. You are not eligible for this category. Okay, please, you have to be careful there. So someone is saying, how possible is it for a third class in BSc to get a master's program in the US? Third class. That would be the third class must be spectacular in other areas. In other aspects, it must be very, very spectacular. Okay. It may be possible, but it must be very spectacular in other aspects, in other areas, whether research, publications. You must impress them in other areas that for them to be able to wash away the third class. Okay. And of course, it can also be possible if it's self-funded. If it's self-funded, it can also be possible. It's also possible. Okay. So you're asking, Olakunle, I get your point, although I get your point on not deviating from F2 visa position, but are there opportunities available for people on dependent visa? Okay, so I don't understand what you mean by opportunities. If you mean study opportunities, you cannot study on F2 visa, except the example I gave earlier, that some schools allow those on dependent visa to just learn some things, okay, in their school, but they won't be taking full credit like F1 visa holder. Some schools do that. Okay, so if that is the opportunity you mean, or if you mean like live like a normal person, yes, they live like a normal person. It's just that they are not. Daddy, why so little? It's just that officially they are not allowed to work. Okay, they are not allowed to work. My boy wants to write, and he wants me to write. Okay, they are not allowed to work. Why so little? Daddy will join you very soon. We are going to write A to Z. Okay, you can do it. That's my boy. No. All right. So another question: is it possible for someone's spouse to get pregnant during and stay in the US and have the baby in the US? It's possible. That's the simple answer to that. That's possible. Thanks so much. Please, I need my SOP, sir. I once tried on it, but you said you know in due time. Okay. So SOP presently, I have so much in my in my um, in my box that I'm reviewing as much as I have the time. But since you're on YouTube already, there is a video I made on YouTube here, a very short video, which explains how you can get your SOP across to me. You can get your SOP, try and search for the video, watch the video, get your SOP across to me, follow the guidelines, everything I said there. I was trying to reduce the number of people whose SOP I will have to review. Okay, so that's why I made the video. A little W, Daddy. A little W. You can write it. You can write it. Good. You see, you have written it. Mom. All right. So. Hey, what's the little X? Oh, wow. What's the little X? Nat, keep quiet. People are listening to you. Okay. Keep quiet. Yeah, write it yourself. Now, you can. So please check the video. Send your SOP across to me. It will be on the queue. It will be on the queue, and I will definitely get back to it. No. Okay. So another question: do I have to get academic references? Do I have to get academic references for my study? I left school. Not wait. Daddy, see, mommy says you should come and collect juice. Can get juice. Juice. Very cold juice. Okay. So, do I have to get academic reference for my study? I left schools like more than 7 years ago, but I have over 5 years of experience. Can I use my work manager? Well, you will still need to get academic references no matter what. You can use one of your managers, but most of your references, for example, if you have like 3 references, you have to get at least 2 from schools. Okay. Your work manager, if what they do is related to what you're applying for, they can write for you. But if not, there's nothing they can write for you that it will be strong. Okay, so you need people who can write references for you in relation to what you are applying to. Thank you, Mommy. Okay, that's the basic answer to that. There's no way about it. You have to still get back to your professors, to your lecturers in schools. Okay, I know it's hard getting references. I've been there. I know what it means, but you still have to do it. No shortcut to that. All right, Anika is saying thanks to. Can the partner go with the F1 holder when he's going? I mean, is it advisable to process the partner visa once and travel with the F1 holder? It's very possible. It's very possible. And I explained that when I started talking. I said it's possible. Some schools, when they give you funding, they can give for your dependents. If you tell them you have dependents. Okay. I know someone who was able to get funding for his dependent, the wife and the child, the daughter. They were able to go together. Okay. They went for the interview together. They were granted the visas together, and then they traveled together. But this is because I advised him to do that because the school gave him funding for the dependents. But in a situation where the school is not giving you funding and you don't really have your own personal funding, it becomes harder, okay, for them to be able to say your funding is genuine, secured, and all those stuff. So usually in that situation, I usually advise the F1 holder to go first, and then the other person to join later. Okay, so it's possible, but I usually advise the F1 holder to go first. In the case where there is no immediate funding for the spouse, for a dependent. Okay, Sunday I was denied admission due to the overall file not meeting department standards. Overall file. I don't know what this means when you say overall file, not meeting department standard. I don't know what exactly that means, but uh, it may mean anything. It may mean CGPA. It may mean GRE scores. It may mean SOP, statement of purpose. It may mean letter of recommendation. It can mean anything. So you have to go through your documents again, your own document again, and see what you think needs to be changed. Okay. If you need to change those who wrote reference letters for you, change them. Change recommenders if you need to do. All right. So if someone says, I hear it's very possible to get direct PhD in chemistry. So my question is, if I manage to get direct PhD, can the funding cover spouse and a child? Yes, it's possible to get direct PhD. It's possible to get direct PhD with your BSc, not only in chemistry, in many other courses. But of course, I've seen more of that in chemistry. It's very possible. However, of course, if the funding they give you covers spouse and child, that's fine. But if not, you still have to get a proof that you can cover for your spouse and child. Still have to get a proof. Okay. But the truth is, if you live prudently, if you live very well, the funding you are receiving can actually cover what you and your spouse, your dependents would need, okay, regularly. If you live, there is a saying that PhD students are paid a little above the poverty standard level. I mean, it's a saying something we say jokingly. But if you can manage yourself well and do all the stuff, that should be able to cover for you guys. But in terms of getting your process done, your what do you call applications, getting your visas approved, you need more than saying we will manage. You don't say we will manage to the VO. Okay, you need a funding, a proof of funding that will cover for your dependents. Okay, that's what you can take to the VO. All right. I want to be sure. Adewale, can you see the live video again? Uh, you said you can't see the live video again. Okay, so I just want to confirm you can see it now. All right. Someone say, what's the first process in seeking admission for master's program? I have a video on that here. The very first thing you need to do. Search this channel. You see that video. The first thing you need to do. But the first thing you need to do, if I will make a summary, in that video I explained, I did make detailed explanation. But the summary is simply that the first thing you need to do is start to write any exam and start preparing for the exam. Okay, that's the basic thing. Sunday, oh, said that boy I'm carrying is carbon copy. Thank you so much, Sunday. Thank you. All right. Someone said I have two sitting in O level, studied architecture, R21. O level is not relevant in your master's application. Okay. O level, you don't need O level. You don't need it. You only need your BSc stuff for your master's application. You don't need anything O level at all. Okay. You don't need anything O level. All right. Thanks for asking your question. Let me just make a recap. Let me make a summary of what I've discussed, and I will end the video. So I started the video by talking about the fact that people who are married can get funding in the United States, and they can come with their family. And when I mean family, I meant your immediate family, your wife or husband, and your child or children. I'm not talking about your brother or your grandma or mom or someone is saying distant cousin or whatever. It means your immediate family. That is very, very possible. Number two thing I explained is that age should not deter you. I said I've seen people who are over 30, people who are over 40, doing their master's, PhD here in the United States. So that you are above that age does not mean you should discourage. You should. It does not mean you should. What do you disqualify yourself? Okay, don't disqualify yourself. Don't disqualify yourself. Very, very important. Don't disqualify yourself. Okay. People come with their family, people come with their people who are over 40 are doing the masters, are doing the PhD program. Okay. And I went on to start explaining the process, how to get um, the process done. Some schools can offer funding for your spouse, for your dependent, while some other schools will not offer funding, okay? And you have to cater for that yourself. You have to look for proof of fund yourself and prove to the VO that you are able to cater for your family. And I said, in some situations, I mentioned that in some situations, when the funding is available by the school, both F1 and F2 holders, Nat, you're screaming. Both F1 and F2 guys, you can go and get your visa together. But I usually advise that one person goes first and then the other comes later, because sometimes the funding is not readily available. You might need to take time to save money to be able to present proof of funding, or you might need time to contact those whom you want to stand for you as a sponsor. Okay. And then I explain things you need to do while doing the things you need to do while going for the interview, F1 interview, F2 interview. I mentioned the fact that if you are the one going for F1 interview, don't jeopardize the chances of your F2 dependents. Don't say they are not joining you. Some people want to try and build home ties and say, oh, I have my wife and child in Nigeria or in India or wherever, so I'll be coming back to the country. And then if they are asked, will they join you? And you say no, you are jeopardizing the chances of those guys joining you, because it will be noted down when your spouse come or your child or wherever, when they come, they will tell them that your husband said you guys are not coming. Okay. And then they will be expecting you to come back. Okay, because you have said you are coming back to them. So don't use your family as home ties and say, don't use your wife and child or your husband and wife and child as the home tie. Okay, so that I said. Then F2 interview, I gave tips, things you need to do. Be confident. Be confident. Know that it's your right. Sorry, guys. Nathaniel, you're screaming, you're shouting.
What do we do, Daddy?
Okay. So be confident. If you need more tips, check this video. I made very beautiful videos on F1 and F2. You'll get real tips. Fill your DS160 very well, perfectly well. Don't make mistakes. And then started answering some of the questions. Yeah, so let me pick the last two questions. Okay, so you're saying you didn't get the first thing I said when I said we should. I didn't get the first thing you said we should do when applying for master. So I said the first thing you should do is start looking for courses in your research area. Start looking for assistantship in your research area. Start looking for schools offering assistantship in your research area. Okay, and look at the requirements. Do they need GRE? Do they need TOEFL? What do they need? Know exactly what they need. Okay, so when you know what exactly they need, you're able to start gathering your application materials. So you're able to start gathering your application materials once you know exactly what they. That's my boy. Okay, it's difficult making videos at home. It's difficult. All right, so last question here. Esther, you're saying, sir, do I need to go to interview with my BSc credential as F2? Well, you can go with it. Just go with, for me, it's better to be too safe, to be very safe. Just go with every document you can lay your hands upon, even though you will not need most of them, but you don't know where the discussion might lead to. The VO may be trying to prove, to know if you are actually educated or not, and you are saying you have a BSc, and the VO wants to ask, okay, show me a proof. Okay, so go with every document you can lay your hands on, have them arranged in your file, and whenever it's requested for, you can always tender it to them. Okay, I think that will do for now. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for joining. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Let's build a community here too. If you've not subscribed for this channel, subscribe. It will be so nice for you to uh, get some of the videos, watch some of the videos I've made in the past, watch around, look around. I've been making videos, some are series, some are on family, some are just fun videos. Okay, these boys shouting, playing, doing all those stuff. I have those videos there too. All right, thanks for joining in today. You can still leave your messages, your questions in the chat, and even after this video, I'll still be able to see those questions. All right, God bless you real good. Have a nice time and have a nice week ahead of you. Happy Sunday to you too. Nat, do you want to say bye to the people?
Bye, people.
Come on, say bye.
Bye, people.
Say love you.
I love you, people.
Say see you later.
See you later, people.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Oopsie, let's do it red.